Good morning, folks. My name is Buuren. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Alpha Corporate Retail, a group of community pharmacies. About 3 years ago, we took over some insolvent pharmacies, and they were spending a fortune on marketing in your traditional print media and the local Caxton newspapers. The folk from Alibi Creative came and sat with me and showed me why this wasn't working. 35,000 Rand per advert multiplied by the amount of stores we were doing. It was just not working, and we needed to rapidly grow these insolvent businesses, both in gross profit and certainly turnover wise. Very difficult to measure how your marketers are actually doing. And like any CEO and CFO, we want to know, where is the return on this investment? So there were three things that we set about focusing on to achieve the desired result. The desired result that we needed was a growth of about 25 to 30%. That year we ended up enjoying at least a 37% growth in our worst performing pharmacy. Now, there were three focus areas that we focused on, and I believe that this is the Alibi Creative superpower. The first of the three elements was meaning. It was no good as the local papers that we were using was spray and pray marketing. We were marketing to everybody, and therefore our adoption rates were very, very poor. So the first thing that we set about doing was, let's understand who our current customers are and who do we need to target on. And then we focus our marketing initiatives based on that meaning. So we did a fortune of community-based marketing, because as a community pharmacy, we want to operate in the communities that we need to serve. So we set about that, and with some low-cost, high-yield initiatives, there was an incredible amount of traction. The second thing that we looked at is, in terms of that meaning, is the relevance. Now, we've moved into a digital age where people have got their cell phones in their pockets. We are able to market to those people in their pocket, in their home, in their most vulnerable spaces. People let their guard down on Facebook and on Twitter and that kind of thing, and this was an opportunity for us to get in, and very inexpensive. We were able to look at who we were marketing to. So for instance, if I was marketing a feminine hygiene product, I didn't advertise it to the boys and the old men. I marketed to the younger women. If it was a baby product, we knew who was the target market that would receive that well, and rather spend our money targeting only those people. And several initiatives. There must have been in 3 years 200 or 300 such projects that we did, all focusing on those three elements. The next critical aspect that we focused on was the measurement. It's no good spending money, especially on marketing. Let's face it, none of us can really afford to market, and those of us that can't afford to market can actually not afford to not market. It's that critical. You've got to get your message out there. And I was ever aware of this, and obviously, so sitting with the team, we focused on what the measurements would be. And again, in the digital age, there are several measurements, regardless of what medium you use. So we set about what were those measurements. We knew that we wanted to increase our average sale. We knew that we wanted to increase our footfall. We certainly wanted to increase our margins. These are measurables that the team and I built up to work out, what are we going to focus on? What is that dashboard? So if we run a weekend special, what are the elements that we would need to ensure that, hold on, the money that I've spent on boosting or creative design or what have you would yield the desired result. And every project had to have a measurement. Even a community outreach project, we had to see, did the community respond with likes? At least we knew that we were developing the brand in the process. And so I urge you to consider those measurements. And obviously the last element would be money. So the three elements together would be meaning, measurement, and money. We have to make money. Otherwise, why market? If you're not going to increase your revenues, increase your brand equity. And obviously you want to see that on the balance sheet at some point. So we have to be focusing on those elements. So by striking a balance between the community involvement, social responsibility projects, commercial marketing where we promoting product and price, you name it. And I mean, this encompasses a wild array of things where we've got right our addresses in the stores, our Google locations, the search engine optimizations. I mean, I'm not an expert in this thing, but everything that was done had meaning, had a measurement, and ultimately made money. And most importantly, the creative work has been very, very well done, and it's very pretty. But typically marketing agencies follow or focus more on what the advert looks like and not the messaging and the meaning. And again, I believe that this is something that we really got right in terms of the relevance, and why we struck a chord with our client base is because we got the measurement right and the meaning right first. The message to the customers, if it is right and then it is dressed properly, you're going to win. But focusing on whether or not the prettiness of the advert is a priority, personally, I don't believe it. Having said that, I think the standard of the work that came about from Alibi Creative was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's been a very proud 3 years that we've journeyed with these individuals. I highly recommend them. I highly recommend the fact that it ticks all the blocks that a CEO and a CFO want. They're inexpensive. They can turn on a ticky, and time is money. Let's face it, we can't be taking expensive resources and sitting with the marketing agency trying to put them through school. They need to know the job. They need to be able to grasp things quickly. They need to understand that when the CEO has a half an hour, it might mean 10 o'clock at night. These guys came to the party. There were Sundays that they would even come to my house and focus on a project because that is their allotted time. These guys fitted in with our schedule, with our needs, not the other way around. There wasn't a scope document where I had to do the work. These guys came around and we built this thing together. And definitely, where as a corporate company, we have some great skills, we understood that we needed the marketing skills. And the marketing covered an array of mediums, whether it be the digital stuff, the print stuff, the point of sale in store. They covered all of this, and they covered it with distinction. So Alibi Creative, I highly recommend you, and I want to see you with a few luries in the future. Thank you.